Turning the page now to the talented writers living and working right here in Western New York. More than 60 local authors will come together tomorrow night to celebrate their shared craft on the boardwalk at Larkin Square. And we're joined by one of them right now. We have Laura Ponticello here in studio. She is the author of Live the Life of Your Dreams, 33 Tips for Inspired Living. We also have Thomas Welch here of Talking Leaves Books. And of course, Larkin Square Director of Fun, Leslie Zemsky. We'll get to all the festivities happening tomorrow night in just a second. But we want to start off with you, Laura. Tell us about your philosophy as a writer and a little bit about your book.
Thank you so much for having me today. I think the creative process is a beautiful process because it's allowing your inner voice to come out. And part of having this inner voice is we all have a story to tell. It's just coming forward and having the courage to inspire others and share that story. And so part of writing my book, Live the Life of Your Dreams, 33 Tips for Inspired Living, is I went across the country and I surveyed women on what inspired them in their daily life. Some of the common things that I heard is I really don't have time to read a book cover to cover because I'm working, I'm a professional, I'm a mom, I have so much on my plate. So the intention was that a woman could open the book and be inspired at any page. And it weaves in what I consider life tips. Like, for example, balanced living, pause long enough to notice kind of your environment around you, and give gratitude. So this morning when I was getting ready to come here, I started out my day by just taking a deep breath and then saying, you know, thank you for the gift of today. And I think once we have gratitude, it sort of shifts our whole day. So the intention is to encourage someone to live an inspired life.
And we're seeing this, it's a listicle, I think it's called, where we have 33 things. It's in list form. It's very popular online, and you're bringing it to the traditional publishing world. How have you found, as a local author here in Western New York, how have you found your marketing strategy to be successful?
I think word of mouth. I think if someone reads the book, what I'm finding is that people are sharing with me, that it's easy to read, but more than that, as local authors, we want a community where we can share dialogue and bring people together. And what I'm finding is that one person will share their common story with someone else, and that's the beauty, I think, about the event. Tomorrow night, it's all of us in the power of community coming together and sharing our stories.
Yeah, that brings us to Leslie and our local author celebration happening tomorrow night at Larkin Square. Where did you get this idea, and what's the evening going to look like?
Well, it's really Jonathan, who's the owner of Talking Leaves Books. We kind of cooked up the idea together that we've had so much interest from authors. How can I be a part of your series? And there are only so many that we can fit in during the year, so we thought, let's open the doors. And wow, I had no idea how many authors we have in Buffalo. It's very exciting.
And Jonathan, tell us a little bit more about the culture of local authors here in Western New York and how Talking Leaves fits into it.
Well, we've been around for 40-some years now, and we've been supporting, to the extent that we can, local authors for that whole time. And Buffalo's kind of interesting in that it has a very strong national literary reputation, but locally, I think a lot of people don't realize what a hotbed of writing and reading it is. We've been working with just Buffalo Literary Center since they were founded in 1975, and Hall Walls, who has had a writing component to their artwork for years, and other community organizations, and the library. Anywhere where books and reading sort of come into play, we try to be a part of that because it's central to our mission and our vision about what, you know, that reading and writing matter. And there's a strong community of local writers. The world of publishing has changed a lot in the last 10 years, so that 10 or 15 years, so that it's now a lot easier for people to sort of get engaged in that world, but it's also the trick, of course, is not the writing, which is difficult, and the publishing, which is complicated, but is then what happens once you've done those two things. How do you find an audience? And Leslie and I have been working for a year and a half now, bringing writers to Larkin Square, but you know, every day I get approached by somebody who's got a book, and it's like, well, what can I do? Well, you know, we're a small store. There's no way that we're going to, you know, even if we put every book by every local writer in our store, there's no way that, you know, more than a few thousand, or, you know, in any given year, or maybe, you know, I don't know, of the 1 million people in Buffalo, how many come into my store during the week? not a huge percentage, sadly, which more did. But the point is that this is a way for us, another venue for us to sort of reach people, for the authors to reach people, for a public to begin to develop that will make this, will broaden everybody's audience and hopefully sort of feed back into this community and make it keep growing.
There's, of course, so much to discuss. That's about all the time we have. But remember, summer reading season starts again tomorrow night, 5 to 7 on the boardwalk at Larkin Square. There will be 60 local authors, and I will be there doing rapid-fire interviews with each and every one of them. So it should be a great night, and we hope to see you there.